Hey guys, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? See who's going to pop on and watch to this impromptu live stream. Let's see who's going to come check it out. Hopefully everybody will show up. We're going to take a look at the StudioLive 32. Let's see who stops in. Love to get me off the screen here, if at all possible. Hey guys, what's going on? Got a couple of people here already. Let me try to... Can you hear me okay? Hey Anthony, how are you? Kevin, how are you? D-A-R-K, how are you? Can you guys hear me okay? I have a new microphone sitting here on the side of my face, so I can be hands front away from a microphone. Hopefully it'll be there in a second. There is a little bit of a delay. There always is with YouTube. Hopefully you'll see a live stream loud and clear. Thank you very much. That's for... Let's see. Yes, you can see. Hey, Chaz, how are you? Let me just get rid of my ugly mug that I'm looking at on the YouTube live stream. I just want to see the chat here, so bear with me for 1 minute if you guys would be so kind, just so I don't have to look at myself, because that's a scary thing, man. Let me get rid of this. This is not planned. Obviously, I'm just jumping on here. You may see over my shoulder here a little bit of a surprise that I wanted to share with everybody. Hey Larry, how are you? Microphone sounds okay. I got this new headset. You could probably see it here on the side of my face. This new, what you call it here, around the back of your ear in front here, headset, mic, trying out for the first time here. So as I move forward and doing live streams and doing recording tutorials, I don't have to have this big mic in front of me with this big boom in front of my face. I could kind of move a little more freely. And I got it to a wireless unit, which is going into, which is what I would normally use for my video camera. When I would use a lapel mic, just plugging it straight in, I'll be able to walk around and move around freely. So that's great. Jason said, sounds great. Tim said it sounds fine. Awesome. Hey, got 22 people here. Larry, how are you? Thanks for joining me, everybody. How's everybody's day going? It's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Let me just, again, I want to get rid of my ugly mug here on the screen. Okay, now I can't see myself, which is perfect. I don't want to see myself. I'll probably open up the picture a little bit more once I stand up behind me. So does everybody see what is sitting behind me here over my right shoulder? Today is the day. We got the StudioLive 32 fresh off the UPS, or excuse me, the FedEx truck. And I'm really excited to kind of pop it open here and check it out. And I wanted to do that with you guys. Cool. Oh, you got one coming in too. Artamik says, mine will be here tomorrow, so I'm so excited. Thanks for doing this. Hey, man, no problem. I'm excited to do this. I've had this sitting here now for about, I don't know, 45 minutes or so, and I wanted to wait until I got up on the live stream here so I could share it with you guys. I noticed there's a big kind of a whammo here in the box where it doesn't look like, because I can't reach in and actually touch the mixer, so I'm sure the mixer's probably fine, but FedEx has got a little bit of damage here on the box. But outside of that, this is how it arrived. It's not a box inside of a box, which honestly kind of surprises me a little bit. Now, this came straight from the Presonus factory. I bought this directly from Presonus, working with some of the great folks over there. Susan and Rick, thank you so much from Presonus for allowing me to get this right out of one of the first batches that are coming out of the factory. I'm one of the few lucky ones to get the first run of these, and I'm so thankful for that. Thank you very much. So this shipped directly from one of their warehouses somewhere, and so I'm a little surprised. I mean, it's well packed, but you got this nice big graphic on the front, and it doesn't come in another box. So, God, you wonder, you know, this was left outside somewhere. Someone could just walk away with it. I mean, I don't know. I probably would have put this in an outer box, to be honest. Excuse me. I'm getting over a little bit of a cold. I had the flu last week. So forgive me if I get a tickle in my throat every now and again. I'll try not to cough too loud and blow your guys' eardrums out. We got 25 people here, which is great. Yeah, excuse me. But other than that, like I said, the box looks like it came in pretty good condition. It said on the UPS tracking on their website that this was like 85 pounds. And I thought, how can this thing be 85 pounds? It's not 85 pounds. That's what the charge weight was, probably due to its size. It probably weighs about 40 pounds, 35, 40 pounds. I was able to manage this from upstairs into my studio with pretty much no problem. Has a couple of cutouts on the side of the box. So pretty cool. But I'm going to wait for a few more people to show up. People are pouring in right now. So let me know where you're all from. I posted a new video this morning, which is the second video on YouTube. It's early AM, Questions and Coffee with David, new series. I don't know if you guys saw that. If you haven't, go out to the YouTube channel and check that out. The last two videos I did where you guys are just keep sending me in questions, which is fantastic, and I'm answering them in video format, usually around 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning when I first get up out of bed, and I haven't even had my first cup of coffee yet. We're having coffee together and we're answering questions. And so far, a lot of people have had some positive things to say. So a lot of cool questions about Studio One and about plugins and about computer issues and how to optimize your computer, Mac PC. So anyway, go check those videos out. And if you have any questions about your setup or whatnot, send them in my way and I'll put it in a future video. Anthony, how you doing? Anthony's here. What do you need for 32 input channels for? Do you record that many inputs at the same time? No. One of the things I was going to tell you guys about is really, for me personally, this is more for mixing than this is for recording. As of today, this is not yet a full-on surface control for Studio One, but it is coming. Presonus has confirmed that. It's going to happen over the next, I want to say, month or so. They're going to have a new firmware update and probably an update to Studio One, which is going to allow this to be a full-on surface control for Studio One. That's really why I bought it. Not for the recording side, although I do some recording here, but I certainly don't do 32 channels at once. And I'm not taking this out into a club or a live situation. This is really going to be the centerpiece of my studio. I wanted it for the 32 faders to have that real console feel. But today, like I said, it doesn't control as a surface control. However, you can open up Studio One sessions and you can run audio through it and you can still mix with the faders and print your mix and export your mix. It just won't control the actual faders on the screen and that kind of thing. Plus, once it's fully DAW controlled, which will be really cool, it's got, it's all motorized faders, so it's going to be total recall. So you pull up a session whatever you have in your Studio One session, it's gonna lay it right on the board. And so this is really why I picked this up. It was more for mixing, not for recording. So that'll be cool. Hey, Chris over at Mixdown Online. Hey, David. Hey, buddy, what's going on? Man, you're crazy like me. You're supposed to be working. You're not supposed to be sitting around watching YouTube. And Anthony's from Hawaii. Fantastic. How is the weather in Hawaii? I went to Hawaii on my honeymoon. It was a beautiful place. I wish I could live there. So we got, let's see, 38 people here. I think we should probably open this, right? Because I can't spend a lot of time on here today, because I got some other work I got to get done. And then I got to somehow get this whole console cleaned off, and I got to get this thing in place over the next day or so, because the next set of training videos and such are all going to be done, and from this point forward are all going to be done on the StudioLive 32. Excuse me. Unless for some reason I don't like it and it has to go back, but I can't imagine that's going to be the case. So anyway, you guys say, should I open this up? Should I kick the chair out of here and let's open this bad boy up and let's see. Hopefully this big smash in the box doesn't mean the console's got a big ding in it. Let's hope not. We're going to see live on YouTube here how well Presonus packs their consoles in their boxes. So anyway, let me do that. We got a lot of people here, and I'm going to put this on YouTube. This is recording as we're talking through YouTube, and also I'll put it up on Facebook a little bit later as well, so people can check it out. And that's it. So let's open it up. So I'm going to back up here. Let me open up my screen so I can see myself a little bit, just so I can see what you guys are seeing. And again, if the audio, I'm glad the audio is good. I was a little worried about that, to be honest. Just want to make sure that I can see what you guys are going to be able to see. Okay, cool. So now I can kind of see it. So there's a little bit of a delay, obviously. Hopefully I'm not too, it doesn't matter if I'm cut out of the picture. You guys don't care, right? Forgive my attire today. I'm still in my kind of sweatpants, t-shirt kind of a deal here. Remember, I was up at 3:30 this morning recording videos for YouTube like an idiot. So let me raise this up just a little bit, just so you guys can maybe see me a little bit better. And then we'll get to cracking here. So anyway, let's I'm going to flip this thing on its face because it looks like it opens up from the back. So we're going to do that here like this. All right. And we got a little bit of a whammo here on the back of the box too. Nothing to be too worried about. It's not punctured all the way through. So let's take a look and see what we got. It's like being on Christmas. Right? Don't you guys like getting new gear, man? You just wake up, you come downstairs, you get new gear. It's like Christmas morning. This is fun. I'll tell you what, I can't believe I had the patience to wait to get on YouTube. Normally I would open this thing up 45 minutes ago when it first came in, and you guys wouldn't have saw this. So I'm doing it for you. Like you guys care. Okay, hold on a second here. All right. Let's see what we got. Big box, for sure. All right, so what you can't see here is the top of this. I don't think you're going to be able to see inside of here. Let's, I can kind of just show you though. I could probably tilt this up a little just so you can see how it's packaged. They did a pretty good job, it looks like. Let me move this out of my way a little. Hold on one second. Bear with me. Okay. So maybe you can. So you guys can see here, we got a bunch of foam in the top. Looks like the console is packed pretty well. So we got one piece of foam on top here. Two pieces here. Yeah, they packed this pretty well. And this is okay. This is opening from the bottom. It's upside down. That's okay though. So we got two pieces of foam. We have a box of something here. Don't know what we got. A Cat5 cable and a USB cable and a quick start guide. All in this little box here. Pretty cool. They don't include, I don't believe, a full printed manual. You got to download the PDF, which is kind of a drag. I like the days when they used to give you the full manuals. Hopefully everybody can see okay. Cool. Hopefully you guys, I'm looking at the chat, so don't worry. You guys keep asking questions, and I'll get to you for sure. All right, so this thing is kind of upside down. So now this thing is positioned upside down in top of more of these foam inserts like the ones I took out of the top. Let's see how heavy this thing is here. If I can get it out of the box without smashing the hell out of it. Okay. Let's see here. Let me get this out and I'll kind of put this on the chair for a second and get this box out of the way. Let me see if I can do this without dropping it. We got a power cable. All right. Flying solo here, so one-man operation. We got to make do. There we go. All right. And here we go. So here we go. In a plastic bag. Everything looks okay. I don't see any smashes or anything like that. There's a power cord in the box still, which we'll get to later. Let's see if we can unbag this thing now. See what we got here. I can tell you what, feels like it's made really well. I could cut this bag, but I really want to save it. I want to keep the bag intact. You never know. You guys okay over there? You guys can see everything still? Hopefully. Here we go. Here we go. And there we are. Let's take a look and see what we got up close here. You guys see this okay? I'm going to try to drag this in a little closer so you guys can see this a little bit better. Here is our StudioLive. Ta-da! 32. It looks really nice, man. I mean, really sleek, really, you know, everything's made out of a nice, what seems to be aluminum. It's not plastic in any way. Really nice touchscreen. I think it's a 7-inch touchscreen. Let me get my my face off the screen here, so I don't have to keep looking at that, which is annoying as all can be. Okay, so we have obviously 32 faders across here. We have a touchscreen up here, 7-inch touchscreen. We have the fat channel, which is over here, which is all your gate, EQ, compressor, and controls for each individual channel, which is really cool. Over to the left of it here, we have what looks to be like an iPad holder. You know, the one thing I wonder, just wondering, again, not criticizing, just wondering, when I looked at this online first, is you have a lot of dead space here, and you have a lot of dead space here for an iPad. You think we could have made, you know, that screen a little bit bigger. Not that it's small. It's a 7-inch touchscreen, which, you know, I'm sure will be fine. But there's a lot of real estate up here, man. You wonder if they could have made this touchscreen, it maybe not any wider, but definitely taller. And they had enough room here to move the controls around. But, you know, hey, this will be good for an iPad if you wanted to hook it up as a second screen, which I guess you can do from what I'm told. I'll have to read out on how to do that. And then we have, you know, all kinds of scribble strips here, which is really cool, which is not part of the old StudioLive series. I have the old 16.0.2 that I've been using for years for like man rehearsal and stuff. And that's a great little mixer. So this is like, it's a quantum leap from a styling point of view and such compared to that, that's for sure. If we turn it around here, let's just take a look at what we got on the back. Don't drop it, right? Okay. I'll tell you, man, it's heavy. It's not a cheap piece of equipment. That's not a light, cheap piece of equipment. That's for sure. So I'm sure you guys, if you looked at these online, you've seen these before. We have 16 XLRs up here, and then channels 1 through 16, and then 17 through 32 on the combo jacks, which gives you the 32 inputs. That's pretty cool. We have 16 or 12 XLR outputs, which are part of, I guess, what they call their flex mix outputs, which I basically think that means, and I have to learn more about it, is you can assign anything to these outputs. So for example, if you just wanted this, if you have output 1, traditionally, if it was just a single direct output, it would be the output to channel 1, but it actually could be the output to anything you want, which is pretty cool. So we have 12 of those on XLR jacks, so 12 outs, or what they call mix outputs. And then there are channels 13, 14, 15, and 16 are on TRS jacks. We have 4 sub out groups here, TRS, which is cool. We have monitor outputs left and right. We have auxiliary inputs, 1 and 2. Then down over here, we have some tape inputs and outputs on RCA jacks, which I guess is a pretty good feature, right? We have our mono output, which is really cool. And then we have our main left and right outputs to go to your left and right speakers, which is cool as well. We have a mono sum here, which we just talked about that. And then over here, we have our AES output, which I believe is like a digital out. The AES is a digital out, a lot like you can use it like kind of like, think of it like a SPDIF output. Then we have our USB, and then we have our Cat5 in, which you can hook up through your network, which is really, really cool. So again, my first impressions are it's in really good shape. It wasn't damaged in shipping in any way, even though there was a big gash across the front of the box. It looks really nice. Looks like it is really well built. It's, you know, it's all of 40 pounds. It's heavy. It's not light. Not that the other ones were not built well. The other StudioLive mixers were built well, but this is really I mean, from what I can see, a quantum leap, really, in design and the way they designed this. Very low profile, too. I could turn this on its side. Let me know if you guys can see the profile of this from the side, which is much different than the old mixers. I don't know if you guys can see that. Can you guys see the side of this? As it's taller down here, and it gets very, very narrow down here, so it's very sleek, and it doesn't feel like a big bulky mixer, like the old or any traditional mixer. Tends to get really thick here. This kind of really, the profile of this, the design of this is really, really nice. It doesn't feel like a big bulky mixer. Can you guys see can you guys see the side of it? Anthony says you can't see it. Let's see. Let me just check out the. Oh no, you're right, because it's down a little bit. Let me lift it up a little. So if I lift this up, or I could pull this back actually. Now you might be able to see that a little bit better. Let me see what you guys are looking at here. Again, I apologize. I don't have my second yeah, you guys can see this now. Okay. So there you go. So if you look here at the side, as I was just saying, it's a lot. It's thicker up here, and then it's got kind of this angle cut in it, and it gets very narrow down here, which is really nice. So it doesn't feel like this big bulky thing. It's I don't know. It's just a cool design. Just like the way it looks. It looks really nice. The sides of this feel like they're... Now it's all made out of aluminum. It's not made out of I think these side covers are plastic or of some kind, but it doesn't feel cheap by any stretch. It feels like it's, it feels like it's built really well. So I'm real excited about this, man. I hope you guys enjoyed me opening it for you. I figured, what the hell, you guys want to see it as well. Do you guys have any questions for me? Anything you guys want to ask or talk about? Or I'm really excited to get this thing hooked up. And when we do our live stream in the next, when are we doing that? Next 2 weeks, I think. March 11th or March 17th, I don't remember. That's when we're doing the next live stream, and I'll use this more, and I'll have this in place at that point, and we'll have an overhead camera, and maybe we'll do some mixing again. Even though it's not a full-on studio Surface Control, Studio One controller, we'll still be able to run audio through it and be able to mix, and that might be cool. I'm real excited to try out their new vintage emulations of like their LA2A, their 1176, their Pultec EQ. Which will all be done through the touchscreen, which might be really cool. So I'm excited, and I think it'll be a lot of fun to work on that together. That'll be really cool. So what else is going on, guys? Anything going on? When is the working review coming? Oh, it'll come. Believe me. I mean, I just pulled it out of the box, man. Give me a break. Yeah. I will do a bunch of videos. I already have a whole list of videos, ideas on the different functionalities of the StudioLive 32 that I'm going to take you through, where I'll have a couple of different camera angles. So I'm trying to set all that up now. That's one of the reasons why I'm picking up new microphones. I got some video cameras, different new video cameras I'm working with. I've upgraded some of my software to be able to give you multiple camera angles. So when we kind of do these reviews, and as we move forward together as part of the growth of the channel, to give you a better look-see at things, whether it be the console or whether it be other things that I might be doing in the studio, and trying to make the whole experience for you guys from a learning perspective better. So that's all going to be coming. So when is the video review coming? Soon. Give me some time. I got to plug it in, check it out, get it all set up, play with it. It's probably going to be a week or so before, or two maybe, before you start to see the first videos spill out. But they will come. I promise you. I'm going to really focus a lot on this, and especially when we get into Surface Control for Studio One, that's going to be a lot of fun as well. So that'll be cool. Dave, German wants to know, would you compare your thoughts versus the Slate Raven? Oh, absolutely. Because as you know, I don't have the Raven anymore. The Raven was the first, my first crack at getting back to a Surface Control. I've been wanting to get back to a hands-on Surface Control for a long, long time. And the Raven was the first thing that I saw at that time where I thought that's going to be really cool. It's not like a fader port 8 or a small little mixer. It's actually, was a full, your whole mix right out in front of you. and that didn't work out as well, as you guys all know. So when this came out and I saw that we can have a true 32 faders in Control Studio One, that's going to be really cool. That's why I picked it up, and I will absolutely compare it to the Raven. I can already tell you that I'm probably going to like this more than the Raven, just because number one, it's built to be used for Studio One, although I'm told it's also going to control other DAWs as well, which will be interesting to see if it can do surface control for Logic, Cubase, Pro Tools. We'll test that out together as well. But I will give you a side-by-side comparison, or my thoughts about the two and which way you'd want to lean. Now, as far as pricing goes on the Ravens today, I think they're around, what, $1,000 for the MTI. I know when I got mine, they started off at about $3,000. People may not remember that. When the Raven first came out, the MTI, they were like $2,500, $3,000. And then they were significantly dropping the price over time. And now they're down around $1,000, I think, the MK2. I think it's the Raven MTI version 2 or K2 or something like that. These retail for $3,000. So this is like $2,000 more, but this is a console. I mean, the Raven wasn't it? You couldn't record. There were no preamps in a Raven. It was just just basically, for lack of a better word, is really the big iPad. A fancy iPad. Where this, you can record into this. This is a much more fully featured situation than something like a big touchscreen. So hence the cost is going to be a lot more. So that's my thoughts so far. Anything else? What else you guys got going on? We have 47 people here. Awesome for no notice at all. And don't forget, there's another live stream, a fully scheduled live stream coming up on Saturday. I want to say it's March 11th. It's not this Saturday. I think it's next Saturday. I don't know the date off the top of my head, but it's, go out to my channel. You'll see that it's scheduled there, 8 p.m. Eastern. And by then this will all be installed and we'll play around with this. And we'll probably spend half the live stream talking about this thing, which is totally cool. That's what we're doing the live streams for. So that'll be awesome. What else going on? Anything else going on? While I'm here, ask away. I'll be happy to answer questions or chat about whatever you guys want to chat about. Hey, Johnny, how's it going? Johnny says, nice to see you back with the new StudioLive centerpiece. I'm super excited, Johnny. I really am. I'm really am. It's about time that Presonus stepped up with this. This is what has been missing for a while. There are other companies that make now a 32-channel surface control, like Behringer, and I think Allen and Heath even make one as well. So it's good to see Presonus getting up there and saying this is what a studio needs. And again, if you're going to take it on the road, you can take this on the road. If you record large live acts, this is fantastic too. Let's see. Anthony, you asked me a question up there a bit. Anthony, what was your question? I could scroll up. Is it done? You're asking about routing. Let me just go. You have a StudioLive 16 AI and Studio One, trying to figure out how to set it up independent monitor mixes when I'm recording a full band for about 4 to 5 members. Any day I had to do that. So you're trying to set up 4 to 5 aux mixes is what it sounds like for your band members on stage. Is that what you're trying to do? Because if that's the case, I don't know that particular mixer, but it's like this. It's like the StudioLive. It's the 16.4.2. I think it's the AI is the surface control. Basically, if you're looking to set up monitor mixes, you really want to do that through your aux sends. That's what you would typically use that for, if that's what you're trying to do. Let me see what other questions we got here. Oh, Alan's asking, will you be able to duplicate Studio One controls on this? Yes, if I understand your question right, this will be, it's not as it sits here, this will be a full-on surface control to Studio One in the upcoming couple of months, is my best guess from what I'm told. That's a firmware kind of an update to make this control Studio One, but it will. And then the answer to your question would be yes, you should be able to duplicate any session you open, any Studio One session, even if it's an older session. If once this is ready to rock and roll with Studio One as a full-on surface control, it should, all the faders, all the panning, everything should just lay itself out. We're going to try that, but yeah, that's what it's supposed to be able to do. Corbin asked, do you think a rap producer would have a use for this? Well, I mean, from a recording perspective, if you're just recording like one instrument or 2 instruments at a time, you say, well, a 32-channel mixer is probably overkill from an input perspective. They also make this in a 16 channel. I think it's called the StudioLive 16. But from a mixing perspective, I think, rap music, if you're mixing, rap vocals with a whole production, yeah, you can have a bunch of tracks in your session. So from a mixing perspective, I think this will suit, any style of music, really. I mean, what I really like about it is the fact that, again, I didn't buy this for the recording aspect of it. 32 channels on the input side is complete overkill for what I do. But I really wanted to have 32 faders across the, 1-to-1 32 faders in front of me on my mix. And there's a page over button. So when you're in Studio One, if you had 60 something tracks, you would just hit one page over, and then you would have channels 33 through 60, whatever, 64. So to have all of that in front of you, total recall with motorized faders is really, really cool. You're not into mixing with a mouse anymore, at all. And that's, so yeah, I would see, I guess it would depend on the type of sessions you're working on, but yeah, I could see how a rap producer could use this, certainly. Cool. What else going on? Any other questions, guys? Wow, we got 48 people here. This is great. Awesome. Again, thanks for joining me, man. You guys are great. Anytime I just jump on here, all of a sudden 40, 50, 60 people show up. It's awesome. So anyway, that's the StudioLive 32. Corbin, okay, cool, Johnny. Custom layers also, yes, you can have custom layers in here. I mean, again, this thing can do so much. I've already read the manual once, but while I knew this was being shipped here, to kind of familiarize myself with different aspects of it. And we're going to go through all of it. Like I said, I already have an entire list of video ideas I want to do for this over the next several months. But I got to start off simple and learn it myself. And but yes, you can use custom layers also, where you can do a whole bunch of different things. This is a really, from what I've seen and what I've read in the manual, this is a very powerful, fully featured. You can customize it almost any way you need to for your workflow mixer. So again, I don't see how. Again, I don't know yet, but I don't see how you'd kind of grow out of it, so to speak. I mean, you could do a whole bunch of things in a whole bunch of different situations, whether you're in your studio and you're more of a mixer like me, or whether you're a live sound engineer, either way. Okay, Corbin, I answered your question. Awesome. What kind of connections to the computer does it have? It has a USB output on the back, which I showed a few minutes ago if you're just joining us. Just a USB cable. Oh, and a network cable as well. So you can patch it in that way. Again, not being too much of a computer geek techie guy, I'm a little surprised to see it's only a 2.0 USB out on this for an interface. That surprised me, being, today I would have thought you'd have at least USB 3 or it would be Thunderbolt. And again, there must be a reason for that. I'm sure it's not really purely cost, especially at 3, how much is is an extra or an upgraded input? I can't imagine. There must be some computer techie thing that made them use USB 2.0, but that's the connection that it has. I don't see why that would be a problem from a recording interface point of view. I just would have thought, Thunderbolt's been around now 3-4 years, maybe 5 years. You would have thought that it would be a Thunderbolt out, or at the very least, a USB 3. USB 2.0, I'm a little surprised by that, but again, there must be a reason, and maybe it doesn't make a difference. I don't know. But that's the computer connections that are on it. No Thunderbolt or Firewire. Fast Newbie, no. Again, little surprised by that. The old StudioLive mixers, the 1602 is a Firewire 400 out, which again, I don't know that Firewire 400 and 800, I got to think, are slower than the new USBs, right? I wish I was more up to speed on the connections and all the speeds and stuff, but I'm sure, I can't imagine, you can't record. I'm sure you're going to be able to record just fine with it in Studio One. I'm sure it's going to be fine. I'm sure that's been tested to death. So I'm not too familiar on that. That might be a question for the guys over at Presonus on the Presonus user forums if you want to know why. You're curious to see what kind of latency it'll have with 2.0 USB. I don't know. Well, here's the thing. Again, and I know very little about this, so if I misquote something or if I'm not exactly precise, please don't hang me out to dry, anybody that watches this in the future. I've opened it up 5 minutes ago, okay? So, but from what I understand, just like there's Studio 192 and there's Studio 192 mobiles, that they have a ton of DSP in this box where you can record through plugins and can do all the things you can do in the Studio 192 with no latency. There shouldn't be any latency issues based on the design of this, from what I'm told. So I don't know. Again, maybe that's why USB 2.0 really doesn't matter, because there's a bunch of DSP in the box, where on the other old style StudioLive mixers that wasn't the case. So maybe what's under the hood here is why it really doesn't matter that it's USB 2.0. I really don't know. But we will find out, because we're going to do some recording testing as well. If you think I'm going to hook this thing up and not try to record through it, we're going to do that. I'm not going to record. Actually, we're going to. There's going to be a point in time. It's going to be a little bit, probably a month or so down the road. But because my band also rehearses in this studio here, we typically record our rehearsals, we're going to record a full drum kit, electric guitar, bass, vocals, and background vocals all at the same time here through this mixer right into Studio One as a test. We're also going to do it through right through their capture software, through the SD card right on the mixer. We're going to test that out. So we will have, I think I got 12 maybe microphones hooked up all at the same time. So we're going to see the power of what this thing can do when you're recording a full band. So we will do that, and I'm going to film that with 3 or 4 cameras, and you guys will get a chance to watch a little bit of my band rehearsal. And then you guys can criticize how bad we are. Just kidding. We're not bad at all. And we'll be able to see how the StudioLive 32 performs. I might even do that as a live stream. I don't know, but that will definitely happen in the near future. So Fast Newbie, forget it. I'm not awesome. And thanks for all I do. I love this stuff. This is great. If I can, it's kind of nice to be able to just come this is what I do, these days for a living, and helping and teaching and showing off stuff and testing stuff. And this, believe me, it's, no, don't thank me. I thank you guys for watching, because without an audience and without followers and without customers who buy my products and stuff, I can't do things like this. So I only do this because you guys really help support everything that I'm doing here. So I try to bring you as much as I can. That's what I'm here to, and we have fun. This is cool stuff. We're in this thing together, so to speak. So again, how you guys said this microphone sounds really good. Is the depth sound okay? My voice sounds okay, other than the fact I'm getting over a cold. Because I just bought this mic, and if it's not any good and I want to send it back and I want to try, I've listened to it through headphones. It sounds okay, but I'm interested to know how it's coming through over YouTube, because if it really sounds good or decent, that's a real good sign. Because this will really allow me to get around the studio and do things for you guys in the future. So I hope it sounds as good as I think it may. That would be great. What do we got? 58 people here. People keep coming in. This is awesome. Any other questions you guys have for me? Breton Base, did you get rid of the Raven? Yes, I've talked about that a few times on my prior live streams. I got rid of the Raven about a year ago, maybe. And I also answered that question in a couple of my Q&A videos on my YouTube channel. But yes, the Raven's gone. It's been gone for a while. It wasn't for me, blah, blah, blah. You can watch some of my videos, and I talk about why in a lot of detail. And this is kind of replacing that kind of need. Corbin says the mic sounds pretty good. No, Johnny, it's not a Countryman. Good guess, though. It looks like one. I almost bought a Countryman mic. They're expensive. I wanted something really good. This is, I don't even know what the hell the name of it is off the top of my head. I've had this a while, and I've just started trying it now. This costs probably 1/10 of the cost of a Countryman. This was less than $200, where Countryman starts at, some of the good ones could really get up there. I think this was like 116 or $20 or something. Sounds good here. No hiss, no rumble noise for the okay, great. That's awesome. Yeah, I like it because it's got a really thin earpiece. And you'd say, why does that matter? Because a lot of the ones by Audio-Technica and Shure and Sennheiser, the Countryman is the only other one that I've seen where the earpiece is very thin. Because when I'm doing mixing tutorials and stuff for you guys, I'm wearing headphones. I need to do that so I don't get the feedback coming through. So I needed something that sits over my ear, but there's really low profile, so my headphones can sit over it and it doesn't feel really weird. A lot of the other headset manufacturers that I've seen, it's got a real bulky earpiece, and although the microphone may sound great, but the earpiece is so bulky, I don't think it would be comfortable with headphones. I wish they made, because here's my headphones right here, I wish they made something where you can actually mount it to the outside of the headphone and maybe clip the boom arm in there. I might actually try to come up with something like with gamers, like video gamers, which I'm not a gamer, but you see them wearing their headphones with their headsets and the mic is actually attached to the outside of the headphone. That's really what I would love to be able to do. Maybe somehow put this on the outside, so it's not sitting underneath the cup on my ear. So something new to try out, because again, when I do my videos, you've seen me a million times on YouTube, where I have the SM7B by Shure and this big thing sitting in front of my face. And if you move off axis, you lose that audio. And as I talked about earlier, some of the things I want to be doing going forward with the channel and being able to help give you guys better perspective of what I'm doing, I want to be able to move around freely. I want to be able to get up and walk around. I want to be able to move from left to right, and I don't want to lose that audio. So what are you going to do? Let's see. I'm glad it sounds good, though. This is probably a dumb question, but why guitarists not like to record straight into an audio interface? Because for what they need to because for what I do, I need a dry signal to work with. Why don't they like recording it? Okay, so if you're asking, most guitars you would record, if you're talking about an electric guitar, you're going through usually some kind of an effects processor, or you're going straight into an amp and you're miking up the cabinet to get the tone, is really what you want. You don't want to just plug your amp directly into your interface unless you have some kind of impulse response or some kind of software that simulates your cabinet. But you can also do that. You could just take a DI signal for guitar if you wanted to, and then add effects on it later, if that's what you mean. But most guitar players, they have a tone. And they have a specific tone that they've worked for years trying to achieve, with the right guitar, with the right pickups, with the right amplifier, with the right speaker cabinet, with the right pedals. And so when guitar players record, they want that tone. And the only way to get that tone exactly, if you're really your tone, is to mic up your cabinet. That's the only way to really do it, unless you're going to use plugins. And there's debate on whether the plugins sound as good as a real guitar amp and stuff, and blah blah blah. But some of them are really good today, and depending on what you do, you may just plug directly in to your interface and use software, and there's nothing wrong with that either. Corbin says, you're rocking the KRK headphones. Yeah, I love these things, man. People ask me about this all the time. As a matter of fact, in my questions and coffee video this morning, there was a question about headphones, and I talked about these. These are the KRK KNS 8400s. They were $150 on Amazon. For me, this is just me. For me, this is the best headphone I've ever heard to mix with. And what I mean by that is, they're not the best sounding headphones for listening to music, but for pure enjoyment. They're not, but they're not supposed to be. They're a very flat frequency response. And when I listen and I mix on these, and I don't mix on headphones solely, I mix through my monitors when I'm mixing. But whenever I'm doing Made Easy stuff, Quick Mix Series stuff, all that mixing is being done while I'm talking to you guys over the video live and working with you guys. It's all done through headphones. And what I love about the KRKs is that they translate really well. So whatever that mix sounds like in these headphones, I can listen to it back in my control room. I can listen to it in any other listening environment, and they're very, very accurate. And I've been using these for years. And as a matter of fact, I bought a second pair of these about 6 months ago and kept them in the box and kept them in storage in case something ever happens to these and they discontinue those. I don't want to go get used to another set of headphones. So I love these. These are, again, the KRK KNS 8400s. They're not very expensive, but they sound great to me. So that's really cool. Pat Brady, hi, how are you? Asks, on your coffee and questions, do you get up at 3:30 a.m.? I ask what time you go to bed. Do I get up specifically so I can record you a video? No, I love you guys. I don't love you guys that much to set my alarm to get up at 3:30 in the morning just for you. No, the truth of the matter is, actually, I've been a morning person my whole life. Before I did this full time, and I was a corporate guy for a lot of years, I used to get up at 4:30 every single morning. It's just my biological clock. I just get up at that time. No matter what time I go to bed, I'm up. Usually 4:30 is what time my body just hops out of bed. What time do I go to bed at night? It depends. My life has changed over the last 5 or 6 years since I've had my daughter, and so I'm trying to go to bed earlier at night now. I'm not pulling the midnight oil and up till 3, 4 in the morning mixing anymore like I used to. Sometimes I am if I'm behind on a deadline or I have a client thing I'm working on, but most times, because now I do this as a full-time thing and have for quite some time, I try to schedule my day like a regular work day. I'm up super early and I'm doing all my administrative stuff, answering emails, business stuff, website stuff. We're in tax season now, so I'm doing tax stuff, and I do all of that stuff busy office administrative stuff between the hours of about 4 o'clock in the morning and 6 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday. The weekends, not so much. And then by that time, I'm getting my daughter up, getting ready for school, blah, 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 blah. And then I get down in the studio around 8 o'clock, 8:30 after I worked out, hit the gym, all that stuff. And I'm working nonstop from about 9 a.m. to about 6 o'clock when everybody's now home from school and my wife's home from work. And then at night, I try to, most times, try to spend time with the fam, you know, and limit my studio stuff unless I'm really, you know, unless I'm working on a project or I have one of you guys are hiring me to do some Skype training. We may do something at night for an hour, but I try to limit that. So the only way I can get all that administrative stuff done and not have to work a 75-hour work week anymore is to do it bright and early. So I'm usually in bed 10:30, 11 o'clock. I'm out by midnight, and I only need about 4 or 5 hours of sleep. That's really all I need. So that's just the way I've always been. I guess I'm lucky that way. I'll tell you, I get more done between the hours of 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. than a lot of people get done all day. And that's just the way I've always been. So I thought while I was sitting there answering all your emails, it dawned on me that I could just be recording a video at the same time. Yeah, I look like crap, and I don't even have my glasses on, and I could barely talk in the morning. But, you know, you guys are really cool. My followers know me by now, and any way I can help you, it's easier for me to do that, and I thought it might be interesting for you, and it's probably a little bit more helpful for you, and I'll get back to the chat in a second, to answer things in video format, because what's happening now, which again is fantastic, I get so many questions and so many emails. I could do one of those videos every single day. That's how many questions I get. But a lot of them now are questions that are a little bit more detailed, and it would take me 10 times longer to write it out in an email. And you know how it is sometimes. It's hard to explain yourself in an email. It's easier for me to do it on video to make sure that I answer your question in a way that's helpful to you, so you don't read my email and go away and go, I don't know what the hell he was talking about, right? So that's why I'm doing that now. And so, yes, I'm up bright and early. And instead of typing out the emails, I'm throwing up my little camera and I'm recording a video. And I'm experimenting, by the way. The audio on those two videos sound horrible. And I realize that. And I even put a little note on the screen for you. I'm working with, I bought a GoPro, and I don't like the way that sounds, and I'm experimenting with some little action cams because I don't want to bring a big video camera up in my home office. There's nowhere on my desk. I want something real small, real easy, point and shoot with good audio, and the GoPro's not it, by the way. I just bought the GoPro Hero 5, and I just returned it. Great picture, horrible sound. I have another one coming in, and so I'm working on getting the sound right, but I'm looking for something I can just set up, click it on, record a video for you guys, shoot it out to YouTube, and then you guys get what you need. So that's what I'm doing. So let me scroll back to the top here a little bit. I lost some of the questions. Pat says, getting up early seems to be something a lot of successful people do. At least it would explain my lack of success. Well, I don't know if that's true or not, but I know I've always been, like I said, I'm an early riser, man. I've always have been. And so most of my energy I have first thing in the morning. By 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, I'm starting to wind down, believe me, which is when a lot of people catch their second wind. Oh, and Pat, you missed the beginning of this. Yeah, this was really just an impromptu video. I got my StudioLive 32 today. It came in off the FedEx truck, and we did an unboxing together. That's all this video was. It has been plugged in. I don't even know that it works until I plug it in. Let's hope Presonus tested it before they put it in the box, which I'm sure they did. So yeah, I'm really super stoked about getting this thing hooked up a little bit later today, getting it kind of situated, and then over the weekend maybe I'll film a couple of videos, and as I'm getting to learn the console, you guys are going to get to learn with me, and then maybe if you're in the market for one of these things, you may decide to buy it or not. I don't know. We'll have to see. Let's see. The audio will sound better now, I bet, with that beast behind you. Yeah. Well, yeah, I hope so. Well, that's the other thing, too. You know, one thing you guys don't know, and I probably will do a video for you, you know, to do these kinds of videos and you know, you should see my setup to be able to do the live streaming with video cameras and getting the audio and running secondary mixers. And it's just, I'll tell you, especially when you do analog summing, which is what I do, the routing of audio here is a little bit complicated, to say the least. And sometimes, you know, you run into all these little bugs. I'm kind of hoping that this baby back here is going to eliminate about 3 other pieces of gear, and everything is going to route through here in a way that I can route things depending on if I'm doing a live stream. The microphones I use, the way I route my audio is different than when I'm mixing or doing a made easy tutorial or doing a YouTube video. And so one of these days I'm going to do a down and dirty kind of a video and show you how I have everything hooked up. This thing is, you know, a work in progress, to say the least. And, you know, when I was just a recording studio and just a mixing engineer, I had to set up everything. It was a kind of set it and forget it. Once it was set up, I never really had to change anything. As I got more into YouTube and live stream and education and helping you guys, the needs have been, you know, all over the map, and trying and learning how to do all of this. It's been fun. At times it's frustrating, and sometimes it's a challenge because I don't always get it right the first time. If you've been around to the first few live streams I did, you could tell I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Half of you could hear me, the other half couldn't hear me. Some people were hearing echoes in the room. It was really, really weird. And so I find it really, I appreciate the fact that you guys kind of, you know, allow me to experiment and use you guys kind of as guinea pigs in a way, and you guys allow me to fumble around until I get these things kind of perfected. And so it's fun, it's learning, but I'm always bringing in new equipment and reading and researching and trying to find ways to make this easy for me to set up, because the easier I can just hit the button and record, the more content I can give you if I don't have a lot of setup time. And I want to try to give you better quality stuff, you know, not just the quality of the video picture, that's part of it, but I really want to give you multiple camera angles and really show you what's being done, and not just talk about it in theory, you know, and that's a little bit more than just a simple webcam like you guys are looking at me now with one camera. To do what I want to do is going to take 3 to 4 cameras, and just hooking that up and getting it all into a computer and getting it on YouTube is, I'll tell you, is a hell of a project. It's not plug and play by any stretch of the imagination. I wish it was. So it's fun. I'm having a good time with it, and I appreciate you guys being patient. But believe me, I'm constantly thinking of ways to make this a better experience for you all, so I could be a little different than maybe the other people that are out there, because there's so many guys out there that are kind of doing what I'm doing, and I'm trying to be unique and trying to give you maybe what's been missing in the past, if that makes any sense. And I have fun with it too, man. This is not, this is not a burden for me. I do enjoy this, so have no fear. What else we have? Hi, David. You have ever had CPU spikes in Studio One 3? What might be causing this? CPU spikes. I have not, but that usually means it's usually a system of your computer. It's a matter of fact, funny you ask me, if you go watch the Coffee and Questions video I posted today, there's 2 questions in there where we talk about computers and CPU, shortages and spikes and those kinds of things. Typically what happens is the more plugins you add in the Studio One or any DAW session for that matter, you will, depending on your computer, your processor, the amount of memory you have in your computer, you can have all kinds of CPU types of issues. That's typically what the problem is. If you're getting, as you say, spikes, if you're getting these kind of crackles and pops and sound artifacts, if that's what you're getting, in Studio One, that's typically your device block size, which is set in the preferences window. That will usually cure that problem, if that's what you mean. But I do have a couple of videos on it. The last 2 I did, I think I answered 2 or 3 questions about this kind of thing. So go watch that and let me know if that kind of relates to what you're talking about. Pat says all studios are work in progress. Yeah, well, that's the fun of it, right? I mean, what fun would it be if you just went out once, bought everything, set it all up, and never did anything again, and that was it forever, right? It would be cool for a while, but you'd get bored, right? Part of this and part of doing what we all do, which is, mixing and recording and all that, is you got, there's always new gear, there's always new trinkets, there's always new things. And if you're part of the online and part of the YouTube community, and if you're a content creator like I am now, there's so much stuff coming out. You could never get bored. The possibilities are endless, and it's always changing. And that's a great thing because it keeps it interesting. And that's also a bad thing because it usually means it can get expensive. So you got to be careful you don't fall down the money pit, which I'm always on the edge of the cliff of looking down into the money pit. And I always got to kind of reel myself back in and go, wait a minute, I am running a business here. I got to make sure that, I can feed my daughter before I buy a new headset mic for you guys. So, but yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Let's see, Tony. We got still a ton of people here. Tony, awesome, David. You got the mixer. Yes, right here. I'm super stoked. You'll be seeing this very soon in action. Johnny says he can tell you that your 32.4.2 AI works great for streaming. It's all used. Oh, that's good to hear. So you have the StudioLive 32, the version right before this, right? Now the AI, that is the Surface Control, is it not, Johnny? I believe it is. So yeah, I think this and that are probably very, very similar. This may have a few added features to it. You know, it's the next iteration. But if that's working well for you, that's good to hear. I'm really psyched. I would be surprised if this didn't do everything I wanted to do. I would be shocked. I would be shocked. I may not know how to do everything, and I may need to ask some of your guys' help, but I'm sure it will. So, Tony's got to go to work. All right, man. Thanks for stopping in, man. I'm so glad you stopped in again. Sorry there was no notice. I wanted to surprise everybody, and I can't believe we got over 50 people still hanging here, and I've been on here 55 minutes. So, Tony, take care and come back for the next live stream. I believe it's on March 11th or March 17th. Check the Facebook page and stuff, and get on my email list, and I'll let you know when it's coming up. And I'd like to see you. Be awesome. We're gonna play with this then. So come back for that. Pat says, where's the warm audio Pultec review? It's on the back burner. It's not that I didn't want to do it. It's just that so many other things came before it. I can tell you those EQs are awesome. Sorry, just the wife texting in. So those are great EQs. I have two of them on because they're mono EQs on my left and right for my stereo out. I've compared them to the plugins. If you're using a Universal Audio Pultec, which is the ones that I use, I'll tell you, man, they sound awfully darn close to me. It almost, is the hardware sound any better? It's so close. I would say that if again, and I know Waves makes a Pultec as well, the Puig Tech. I don't have that one, but I'm assuming it's on par with the Universal Audio ones as far as sound quality goes. If it is, and I'm sure it is, that compared to the hardware, it is so close that I would tell you that if you already have a Pultec plugin, you can use the stereo version of that on your stereo bus, as opposed to spending $1,500 on the hardware, because you need $700 for each EQ. That's what I would do. I like the Pultec. I like it. It sounds great. It's in my rack. It's cool. I don't know. Maybe at one point I'll sell them off. What I don't like about it, the way it's set up on my particular station, is they're all the way over to one side, because that's just how my desk is set up. So I can't really control them sitting in the sweet spot. So I'm constantly having to kind of go over to the side, and that's kind of a pain. They're not in like a mobile rack, and they're not right in front of me. So they sound great. But if you have a really good Pultec emulation, and again, the only one I know of is the Universal Audio one. That's the one I'm most familiar with. That emulation sounds to me as good as the hardware, at least with the warm audios. And I'm not saying anything bad about the warm audios. It sounds fantastic. But I don't see it being the plugins here and the hardware's here. The plugins here and the hardware is right here. So close that if I didn't tell you which one you were listening to, you'd be hard pressed to tell me which one was which. It's the honest truth. But they're great. They're great. Will there be a review? Probably at one point. If I still have them at the time, yeah, there'll be a review on them. They are really cool. They are cool. Let's see what's going on. Let's see. For the cost of what the StudioLive 32 is, what are you hoping to do with the StudioLive 32 that you couldn't do before? Great question. Again, I said this a little bit earlier if you're just joining us. Basically, the main reason why I bought the StudioLive 32 is because I wanted a 1-to-1 fader with at least 24, but I much rather have 32 physical faders for mixing as a surface control. That is the main reason why I bought the mixer. That I could not do before. Everything was being doing with a tracker ball and a keyboard. As you saw in my last live stream, I also have the Soft Tube Console 1, which somebody let me borrow, which is sitting here in front of me, which we used in the last live stream. That's kind of cool. You have that tactile feel, but it's on a single channel basis. But that is not the same as having 32 faders, your whole mix right out in front of you. That was the main reason for me purchasing it. All the other things that the StudioLive 32 does for me is icing on the cake. If they had made a full-on 32 or 40 channel physical fader, just surface control that wasn't a live mixer as well, I would have bought that, you know, because part of what you're paying for here is the fact that, you know, they call it StudioLive for a reason, because it's made for the studio and it's made for live. I'm not going to use it for live. I'm not going to use 32 simultaneous inputs. That's not going to happen in my studio. Like I said, I'm going to record. I record my band rehearsals and stuff, which have about 12 channels. So that's going to be helpful because my interface as of now is in a Universal Audio Apollo, which only has 4 inputs. So I couldn't record more than 4 tracks at once here in this particular space. So this will be good for my band, and that's really cool. But that's really what it was mainly purchased for, that I couldn't do before. I didn't have physical faders. I wanted to get back to that tactile feel. I've used StudioLive mixers in the past in live use. I actually own a 16.0.2, the first generation. They're a fantastic mixer, but those are not surface controls. I wouldn't have bought this if this wasn't going to be a DAW surface control. And it isn't as it sits here. I've said that before. It's coming in the next month or so. But the very first question I asked the boys over at Presonus, Rick Nofke, who's my buddy, when I saw their video on this, the very first thing I asked him in an email is, Rick, will this be a DAW for Studio One, a surface control for Studio One? And he emailed back in big capital letters, yes, it will. It's coming. And then since then, Presonus has been pretty public about that at NAMM and stuff. They're talking about that. And there is on the console a DAW button specifically for that. So if this didn't do that, I would not have bought this. It's a great mixer, but it wouldn't really have given me what I wanted. So that's what it's going to do for me that I couldn't do before. So, and then it's got a bunch of other fancy stuff in there, which is really cool. Again, I like the fact that you can record right to an SD card. I can record my band right without having a computer. That's pretty cool. There's some other cool features, but it was really the surface control. Pat says, just to clarify, the cans you use are the KNS8400. Yes, the KRK KNS8400. Yes, that's correct. Malcolm, hey Malcolm, how are you? Well, the SL32 fit nicely on your Argosy desk. It better, Malcolm. It will. I looked up the specs before I ordered it, believe me, and I was out here with a tape measure. Yeah, actually, if you've seen my Argosy workstation, and I have a 2-part video series on my YouTube channel showing that whole dilemma, this thing it's big. Yeah, this will I could just look at it and say it'll absolutely fit. The only thing that I'm going to wonder about is I'm still going to need, for editing and stuff, you're still going to need to use a keyboard on some level. And where will I put that in relationship to this? I don't know. But as far as physical space, there's more than enough space here. It's definitely not going to take up my whole desk. So yes, it will fit. I measured it. Believe me, there was no way I was dropping the credit card on this unless I knew it was going to fit. It's not going to be custom built into the desk, but that's why I like the side. The side profile is really thin, so it's gonna almost look custom, not quite. And if I actually keep it, there is a way, I know I'm going to keep it, but down the road, I actually can have something built around it to make it look more custom. So that might be cool. Malcolm says you can pull a keyboard rack. Yeah, I could put a keyboard tray underneath this Argosy desk, but it would be kind of in the way. I don't like keyboard trays per se, so I'm going to try to come up with some other solution, and I'll let you guys know what I come up with. Jay's asking, what about the Behringer X32? Would that do the same thing? I don't know that mixer, but I'm told that's also a surface control as well. I don't know anything about that particular mixer, although I'm not a big, and again, the cost of that mixer is probably on par with this. At least it was at the time. And I'm not a big fan of Behringer. To be honest with you, I've had some of their stuff in the past. I've never had any good luck with it, but I know a couple of people that own that mixer that like it. But if I had to choose that over a Presonus mixer, I'd buy a Presonus mixer every single time. The only other mixer I was looking at prior to this coming out was the Allen and Heath QU, I think it's called QU32, which is very similar here. But I think that one's even more money than this, if I remember right. So let's see. Cool. Presonus should be. Oh, Malcolm, you said the X32 does control Pro Tools. A friend of yours has one. Yeah, I'm sure it's a great mixer. I'm not a big fan, like I said, of that brand, but yeah, I know people that own it, and I'm sure they've sold a billion of those things. So yeah, it's probably it's probably in the same market from a competing point of view. You wish you knew about the KNS84. You just ordered some AKGs. K702s. I have no idea. I've never heard them before. No clue. Maybe somebody else would know. I don't know if those are good, bad, or indifferent. They're probably pretty good. I don't know. Hopefully you did some research and read some reviews. Hey, you can always return them if you just ordered them, depending on where you bought them from, and you can always buy the KRKs if you don't like them. JC saying every church is now required to have a Behringer X32. Okay, that's cool. What else going on? Any other questions? Man, we've been on here a little over an hour. I'm probably going to sign off in a minute here. Again, I'm going to put this on YouTube so people can go back and watch the beginning, because I got to start deconstructing and reconstructing and all that stuff. And I do have some other work I got to do later tonight. But anyhow, that's great. I'm really glad that you guys joined me. I'm really excited to share this with you. Hope you found this somewhat interesting. And again, head out to the YouTube channel. You know, when you're done watching this, check out the videos I just put up over the last few days. There'll be more videos coming. There'll be a whole bunch of videos on this. We're going to be doing live streaming in about a week or so, where we'll probably talk mostly about this. And then I got some other announcements to share with you guys. If you were around for the last live stream, I talked about working with my buddy Pete over at mixbetternow.com. Him and I are getting very, very close to making some announcements that I think all my followers I know are really going to enjoy, and I know his will as well. And again, just kind of put it in the same bucket as I was saying earlier, trying to come up with better ways to help you guys and educate you guys, and get you guys moving forward with your engineering chops and your mixing abilities and your experience level. Pete and I are putting something together that is going to be off the hook, that you guys are going to dig, that I really think you're going to enjoy being a part of. I'm super, super excited to be working with Pete. And if you don't know Pete, go over to mixbetternow.com and check him out. He's another great engineer, does a lot of work in Pro Tools Studio One. He uses a lot of different types of plugins like I do, but he's a really cool guy, and he's a great educator, which is important because you could be a really good engineer, and if you have a difficult time teaching this stuff to people that are have the thirst to learn, it could be challenging. So what's great about Pete, he's a great teacher. And also too, you know, if you have not heard of Chris Salem over at Mixdown Online. Chris, I hope I said that right. I don't have it in front of me. I always confuse Mix Better Now, Mixdown Online. Chris out in Canada is a newfound friend of mine, and he's another guy who does a great job at educating and stuff, and he's a Cubase guy. And if you're into Cubase, he's the guy to go check out. I use Cubase 9 as well from time to time. I'm primarily a Studio One user, and Cubase is very similar to Studio One in its functionality, by the way. Chris is very, very cool. I'm glad that we became friends. We chatted a few weeks ago, and he's a really good guy, and he does a lot of this kind of online stuff too. So if you're looking for another instructor, and if you're into Cubase or Uendo especially, go check Chris out over at Mixdown Online. God, I hope I said that right. But if you search on YouTube, Chris Salem, Mixdown Online, I know you'll come up with his YouTube channel. And then again, head over and see my buddy Pete at mixbetternow.com, and it's all going to be really cool, man. 2017 is going to be, we're going to blow the doors off the place and really try to give you guys stuff that is not being done right now, and some stuff that is being done right now, but we're going to take it a quantum leap ahead. So that's kind of the goal. So anyhow, thanks so much. I hate to cut you guys off, but I got to get this thing hooked up. I got to clean up the studio. I got a bunch of stuff going on later today, and I just wanted to share this with you. Go watch it again on YouTube if you're just joining late. And all we did was a simple unboxing, and then I'll see you guys soon. All right, man. So take care, and have a great weekend, everybody. I will be seeing you on the flip-flop. Talk to you later. Bye.